Whereas recognition of the inherent dignity and of the equal and inalienable rights of all members of the human family is the foundation of freedom, justice, and peace in the world. Whereas disregard and contempt for human rights have resulted in barbarous acts which have outraged the conscience of mankind, and the advent of a world in which human beings shall enjoy freedom of speech and belief and freedom from fear and want has been proclaimed as the highest aspiration of the common people. Whereas it is essential, if man is not to be compelled to, have recourse as a last resort to rebellion against tyranny and oppression, that human rights should be protected by the rule of law. Whereas it is essential to promote the development of friendly relations between nations. Whereas the people of the United Nations have in the Charter reaffirmed their faith in fundamental human rights, in the dignity and worth of the human person, and in the equal rights of men and women, and have determined to promote the social progress and better standards of life and larger freedom. Whereas member states have pledged themselves to achieve, in cooperation with the United Nations, the promotion of universal respect for and observance of human rights and fundamental freedoms. Whereas a common understanding of these rights and freedoms is of the greatest importance for the full realization of this pledge. Now, therefore, the General Assembly proclaims this Universal Declaration of Human Rights as a common standard of achievement for all peoples and all nations, to the end that every individual and every organ of society, keeping this declaration constantly in mind, shall strive by teaching and education to promote respect for these rights and freedoms, and by progressive measures, national and international, to secure their universal and effective recognition and observance, both among the peoples of member states themselves and among the peoples of territories under their jurisdiction.
Afọ gbọmọ fẹ́ gbọmọ ye agboje mle kehegbe koni damo maleko gbeme fẹ́ ye dremo kehenile nino he wole isa ake amehe ahishi ye nyemi somomle tra umanye aba.
Article 2. Everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration, without distinction of any kind, such as race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth, or other status. Furthermore, no distinction shall be made on the basis of the political, jurisdictional, or international status of the country or territory to which a person belongs, whether it be independent, trust, non-self-governing, or under any other limitation of sovereignty.
Článek 3. Každý má právo na život, svobodu a osobní bezpečnost.
Тэнийгч боолчлол буюу бусдын эрхшээл байлгах ёсгүй, боолчлол болон боолын худалдааны бүх төрлийг хориглоно.
Everyone has the right to recognition everywhere as a person before the law.
All are equal before the law and are entitled without any discrimination to equal protection of the law. All are entitled to equal protection against any discrimination in violation of this declaration and against any incitement to such discrimination.
Everyone has the right to an effective remedy by the competent national tribunals for acts violating the fundamental rights granted them by the Constitution or by law.
No one shall be subjected to arbitrary arrest, detention, or exile.
हर एक शख्स को यकसां तौर पर हक हासिल है कि उसके हकूक व फ़राइज़ का तयीन या उसके खिलाफ किसी आयद करदा जुर्म के बारे में मुकदमा की समाअत आज़ाद और गैर जानिबदार अदालत के खुले इजलास में मुनसफाना तरीके पर हो।
Everyone charged with a penal offense has the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, according to law, in a public trial at which he has had all the guarantees necessary for his defense. No one shall be held guilty of any penal offense on account of any act or omission which does not constitute a penal offense under national or international law at a time when it was committed. Nor shall a heavier penalty be imposed than the one that was applicable at the time the penal offense was committed.
No one shall be subjected to arbitrary interference with their privacy, family, home, or correspondence, nor to attacks upon their honor and reputation. Everyone has the right to the protection of the law against such interference or attacks.
Нэгт хинч бай улс орны дотор чөлөөтэй зорчих, оршин суух газраа чөлөөтэй сонгон авах хэрэгтэй. Хоёрт, хинч бай аль ч улс орныг түүний дотор эх орноо орхин явах, эх орондоо эргэж очих хэрэгтэй.
1. Everyone has the right to seek and to enjoy in other countries asylum from persecution. 2. This right may not be invoked in the case of prosecutions genuinely arising from non-political crimes or from acts contrary to the purposes and principles of the United Nations.
Todo indivíduo tem direito a ter uma nacionalidade. Ninguém pode ser arbitrariamente privado da sua nacionalidade, nem do direito de mudar de nacionalidade.
Jeden. Mężczyźni i kobiety, bez względu na jakiekolwiek różnice rasy, narodowości lub wyznania, mają prawo po osiągnięciu pełnoletności do zawarcia małżeństwa i założenia rodziny. Mają oni równe prawa w odniesieniu do zawierania małżeństwa podczas jego trwania i po jego ustaniu. 2. Małżeństwo może być zawarte jedynie za swobodnie wyrażoną, pełną zgodą przyszłych małżonków. 3. Rodzina jest naturalną i podstawową komórką społeczeństwa i ma prawo do ochrony ze strony społeczeństwa i państwa.
Number 1. Everyone has the right to own property alone as well as in association with others. Number 2. No one shall be arbitrarily deprived of their property.
Everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This right includes freedom to change their religion or belief, and freedom, either alone or in community with others and in public or private, to manifest their religion or belief in teaching, practice, worship, and observance.
Everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. This right includes freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas through any media, regardless of frontiers.
1. Toute personne a droit à la liberté de réunion et d'association pacifique. 2. Nul ne peut être obligé de faire partie d'une association.
1. Everyone has the right to take part in the government of their country, directly or through freely chosen representatives. 2. Everyone has the right to equal access to public service in their country. 3. The will of the people shall be the basis of the authority of government. This will shall be expressed in periodic and genuine elections, which shall be by universal and equal suffrage, and shall be held by secret vote or by equivalent free voting procedures.
المادة 22 لكل شخص بصفته عضوا في المجتمع الحق في الضمانة الاجتماعية وفي أن تحقق بواسطة المجهود القومي والتعاون الدولي وبما يتفق ونظم كل دولة ومواردها الحقوق الاقتصادية والاجتماعية والتربوية التي لا غنى عنها لكرامته وللنمو الحر لشخصيته.
Everyone has the right to work, to free choice of employment, to just and favorable conditions of work, and to protection against unemployment. 2. Everyone, without any discrimination, has the right of equal pay for equal work. 3. Everyone who works has the right to just and favorable remuneration, ensuring for himself and his family an existence worthy of human dignity and supplemented, if necessary, by other means of social protection. 4. Everyone has the right to form and to join trade unions for the protection of his or her interests.
Хүн бүр ажлын цагийг зохистойгоор хязгаарлахыг шаардах, цалинтай тогтмол амралт эдлэх эрхийг оролцуулан амрах зав чөлөөтэй байх хэрэгтэй.
1. Everyone has the right to a standard of living adequate for the health and well-being of himself and of his family, including food, clothing, housing, and medical care, and necessary social services, and the right to security in event of unemployment, sickness, disability, widowhood, old age, or other lack of livelihood in circumstances beyond his control. 2. Motherhood and childhood are entitled to special care and assistance. All children, whether born in or out of wedlock, shall enjoy the same social protection.
Number 1. Everyone has the right to education. Education shall be free, at least in the elementary and fundamental stages. Elementary education shall be compulsory. Technical and professional education shall be made generally available, and higher education shall be equally accessible to all on the basis of merit. Number 2. Education shall be directed to the full development of the human personality and to the strengthening of respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms. It shall promote understanding, tolerance, and friendship among all nations, racial or religious groups, and shall further the activities of the United Nations for the maintenance of peace. Number 3. Parents have a prior right to choose the kind of education that shall be given to their children.
Everyone has the right freely to participate in the cultural life of the community, to enjoy the arts, and to share in scientific achievement and its benefits. Everyone has the right to the protection of the moral and material interests resulting from any scientific, literary, or artistic production of which he, she, or they is the author.
Хүн бүр энэ тунхаглалд заасан эрх чөлөөг бүрэн эдэлж болох үс тийм нийгэм байгууламж болон олон улсын дэг журамд аж төрөх ёстой.
Number 1. Everyone has duties to the community in which alone the free and full development of his personality is possible. Number 2. In the exercise of his rights and freedoms, everyone shall be subject only to such limitations as are determined by law solely for the purpose of securing the recognition and respect for the rights and freedoms of others, and of meeting the just requirements of morality, public order, and the general welfare of a democratic society. Number 3, these rights and freedoms shall in no way be exercised contrary to the purposes and principles of the United Nations.
Nothing in this declaration may be interpreted as implying for any state, group, or person any right to engage in any activity or to perform any act aimed at the destruction of any of the rights and freedoms set forth herein.